Hello guys, welcome to the day 20 of our coding challenge series. Today we are solving this problem, which is smallest index with equal value. So in this question we are basically given a zero index integer array nums, and we need to return the smallest index I of nums array such that it should satisfy this condition, that if I mod 10, which means if in I mod 10 you will get a remainder value, right, after dividing. So if it's equal to whatever is at the num's ith position, so we would return the index position, which is I, right? And if this condition doesn't satisfy throughout the nums I array, so we would just return -1 if such index does not exist. So x mod y, as we discussed, denotes the remainder when x is divided by y. So let's understand the examples first. Okay, so we have to find the smallest index with equal value, right? So smallest index I of nums such that I mod 10 satisfies this condition, that I mod 10 is equal to whatever is at the ith position of nums array. And if that doesn't exist, so we return -1, right? So let's consider the first example that's given, that nums is equal to 0, 1, 2. And so now we need to, that this is I0 position, I first position, I second position, right? So when we are at I0 position, and then I1 and I2. So when we are at I0 position, so we do 0 mod 10, which is equals to 0, and then we compare this 0 if it's equal to nums at 0th position, right? And it is, because 0 matches this 0, right? Similarly, when we check I equals to 1, so when we do 1 mod 10, so it's equal to 1, and it also satisfies the condition of nums at position 1, and similarly 2 also does, right? So these all satisfy the condition. But if they all satisfy the condition, so we need to return the smallest index of I, and among 0, 1 and 2 the smallest index is 0, so we would return 0. So let's look at the second example, when we have nums array as 4, 3, 2, 1, right? And as you can see, when this is I0, I1, I2, I3, and at I0 when we do 4 mod 10, so that's not equal to nums at 0th position, right? Similarly, I1 3 mod 10 is also not equal to nums at position 1, right? But if we do I equals to 2, so at I2 we have 2, this value. So when we do 2 mod 10, so we get the value 2, which is actually equal to whatever is at the nums at position 2. So this and this match, so we would return the index of this value, which is I equals to 2, so we return 2. Similarly, if we have an array such as nums equals to 0, 4, 3, 2, 1, so in this case basically 4 will not satisfy, 3 will not satisfy, 1 will not satisfy, but 0 will satisfy and 2 will satisfy, right? So at I0 the condition is satisfied, and at I0, 1, 2, 3 the condition is satisfied. So we get two values, right? But in the question it says to return the smallest index of I, so we would return I equals to 0, and this would be cancelled, right? Let's solve this problem. So first of all, what I can do is I can run a loop over this array, I dot nums dot length I plus plus, and then close this. So we need to find the smallest value. So in that case I can write a if condition, that if I percentage sign 10, so this means I mod 10 is equals to nums at ith position. So this would mean that we would return the value of I, index I, right? So whatever is the smallest value will be returned. So this basically also denotes that whatever the first value we find in the nums array, we would simply return that, because whatever the first value that satisfies this if condition would eventually mean that that is the smallest value of I that satisfies the condition. That's why we directly return I, and we don't check the array further on whether this condition satisfies for the other values or not. So whatever the first value you find, it will be eventually the smallest value in the nums array. So we would just return the ith index simply and not check the whole array till the end. So after doing this, if this condition doesn't returns, that means it satisfies something like in example 3. So like the condition doesn't satisfies after even checking the whole nums array, so we would just return simply -1. So let's run this. Okay, now let's submit this. Perfect, we got 0 milliseconds of runtime, which is amazing. If you have any questions, if you didn't understand the code, so you can ask your questions in the comment section, and then see you guys in the next video.